Swinging a baseball bat is like swinging an axe. True or false? True, it is true in a lot of ways. However, human beings have been swinging objects since long before baseball bats were invented. And while we can use a lot of these mechanics in our baseball swing, there are a few ways in which it differs. So, this is where we have to pay attention. There are a few movements in the baseball swing that don't naturally come to an athlete. So, an example of something that does come naturally to an athlete is generating force using the ground, okay? So when we lock out our front leg, if you tell a kid, hey, hit this object as hard as you can and have them do it over and over again, eventually their front leg will lock out because they're blocking off their energy with the front side to create rotational force. That's something that has happened for years. People probably swung an axe like that a long time ago, even before the baseball bat was invented. Growing up, I would always hear, oh, imagine you're chopping a tree with the baseball bat. This might be a good cue for some people, but there is a main difference that you'll find in a baseball swing opposed to swinging an axe or any other object for that matter, and that's what I want to talk about today. Now that movement is resisting rotation, okay, and making a more linear swing. Here's what I mean. It makes a lot of sense for us when swinging the baseball bat to think about turning and rotating as fast as we can. We would think that that would be the best way to get bat speed, and that's largely true. You can generate the most bat speed when you're thinking rotationally. However, the issue with that is that when we have a very rotational bat path, it results in a lot of foul balls, and it doesn't result in us driving the ball back up the middle. Our timing window is smaller when we have a rotational swing. Think about it, it makes sense. If we have a baseball working its way down a line like this, and my swing is very rotational, in order for me to hit a fair ball, my window of contact has to be right here between these two places. Now, if my swing is more linear and not rotational, then the barrel of my bat will stay on the line of that baseball for much longer. Now my contact window is expanded. So this is where we have to resist our natural athletic movement of rotating when we swing and work more linearly. Does that make sense? For years, since the beginning of time, human beings have swung objects in this direction, whether it's a club, whether it's an axe, but when they do that is a rotational movement around their body and they don't have to work along a line or on a linear plane, and that's the thing that's different about baseball. You need to work a linear swing and not rotational to maximize your contact window. So when this is something that does not come naturally to hardly any hitter. You'll see a lot of hitters that are very naturally gifted and they'll have a lot of success at younger levels. They get up to the higher levels and they no longer have that success because the pitches are harder to hit and because their barrel doesn't stay on line with the ball for a long period of time. So this right here is my favorite drill to help us get our barrel working linearly instead of rotationally. What I like to do, and you can do this yourself, you can have a partner do this with you through front toss, or you can just do it yourself. Get the ball, and with your rear hand, I want you to get in your normal load position, and then I want you to catch this ball working forward, but be very meticulous about how you do this, okay? Imagine that you're swinging the bat and that this right hand right here is gonna be your top hand. Now, when you drop the ball with your hand, I need you to flip your hand over. It needs to stay tight to your body, so don't let it go out here. Flip your hand over, keeping it tight to your shoulder, and catch this ball under it, and then work out to a point of extension where your arm is locked out to your target, okay? Should look something like that. An example of doing this wrong would be like this. As you can see with my arm, it's a rotational movement here this way. My hand's rolling over the top of the ball. That's an example of what a rotational swing would look like. If we're working linearly, our hands will stay palm up, palm down. You hear that a lot. Palm up, palm down. We get to this point of extension and we hold it. Developing this movement here will help us get a more linear bat path instead of working rotationally around our body. That is the main movement that we have to teach because athletically it just doesn't happen naturally. So I'm Coach RAC with Headbanger Sports. As always, we'll see you guys next week.